importantly, he's my best friend. After 30 years of arguing, bickering, and fighting, my brother finally realized who the best man truly is. And when I think back on my brother, there's so many memories that I have and like to share. I will never forget, probably when Steve was about 11 years old, our family was all watching television. Steve gets up in front of the TV, and he's like, I want to show you guys something. So he gets in front of the TV, and apparently he's been practicing some dance moves. So this dance, I don't even know the name of it, but it goes a little something like this. He kind of hops like this, and he kicks. So he's up there, he's grooving, he's in the zone, he's kicking so hard, and next thing you know, he drops to the floor and he's screaming, and nobody knows what's wrong. We're like, what's going on? Is this part of the dance? So we get closer, and he's grabbing his foot, and it's bleeding. Blood is gushing out, and we don't know what's going on, and laying there beside him, and there, just sitting there, glistening in his glory, is his toenail. Now, Steve kicked so hard that it caught on the carpet and just ripped it right off. And I'm telling you, in this lifetime, you will never, ever experience anything like this. I'm telling you, definitely wasn't one of his best days. So, as we got a little bit older into high school, my brother, me and him had to grow up pretty quickly. My mother passed away when we were 16, and when I was 16, he was 14. And so, he'd always follow me around at this time, and I'd always pick on him. My friends would pick on him. And so, at this point, he wasn't necessarily a model student. He actually got in a few fights because he always defended himself, and he actually got suspended from school. So, as an older brother, you kind of worry, how is this going to all play out? Without my mother's guidance, is he going to start hanging out with the wrong people? Is he going to get into drugs? But as I stand before you today, I've never been more proud of him as my brother, as my best friend, as a businessman and entrepreneur, and now as a wonderful husband. And Tina, you truly are lucky to have him. And I'd like to say that you look amazing today, and it truly is. I'd like to welcome you to our family, and unfortunately for you, as long as we have you, we're never letting you go, so you're stuck with us. After high school, I went to school at UC San Diego, and sure enough, like clockwork, yeah, for all the UCSD guys, like clockwork, my brother follows me. He just can't shake it. So, in the dorms his freshman year, there was another Korean kid named Steve. So they all hang out and they all come up with nicknames. The nickname that came up for my brother is Pretty Boy Steve. Look at this face. Look at his face. And at this point, you guys don't understand, he was so into his looks, he would wear the white plain shirt and the vest, he would wear the red vest and the green vest. I think he had a vest for every day of the week. And I'm so glad he got out of this phase, But it wasn't until recently, 3 or 4 years ago, when my brother met Tina, and he calls me up the next day, and he's like, Hyung, you're never gonna get it. I've just met the most amazing girl. And I look at him, and I'm like, that's cool, Steve. I hope everything works out for you. I don't think anything of it at this time. But it wasn't until early in the relationship that wow, for the first time, my brother was completely vulnerable around a girl. And even when he talked to me about her, he'd get all sappy, and I'd make fun of him, because I'm supposed to make fun of him. He'd get all defensive, and why are you saying this or that? And, I'll never forget the conversation we had 7 months into his relationship with her. He comes up to me one day, and we're talking, and I'm like, Steve, how are things with you and Tina? And he looks at me, and he's like, Hyung, they're great. I really like this girl. I hope she likes me. And being the big brother that I am, I decided to drop my bomb on him. And I'm like, Steve, is she the one? And I'll never forget his response. He looked at me and he said, Hyung, she's definitely the one, and I'm gonna marry her someday. So here we are today, and I'd like to raise a glass and a toast. I'd like to present to you